Today, let's talk about lakes. Should you buy a house on a lake? Should you not buy a house on a lake? What are the advantages to lake living? What are the disadvantages to lake living? Let's discuss that in today's video. It starts right now. Hi, I'm Chad Scott with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and like this video. If you'd like to be notified of new videos that drop every Monday at 10 a.m., make sure you hit that bell button as well. So you're looking to buy a house, and you're considering maybe living on a lake. What are the disadvantages to this? What are the advantages to this? Should we live on Lake Michigan, the big lake, or should we live on one of the smaller interior lakes out in the county? Whether it be Racine County, Kenosha County, or Lake County, I can help you with all three areas. Let's get into some of these advantages and disadvantages. The very first thing you have to decide, whether you're living in southeast Wisconsin or northeast Illinois, is which lake do you want to live on? Do you want to live on the big lake that we have here, big body of the water to the east here, that is Lake Michigan? Or do you want to live on one of the smaller, more intimate lakes inland a little bit? If you choose to live on Lake Michigan, one of the bigger benefits that people really love is that generally, in the wintertime, it's a little bit warmer, and in the summertime, it's a little bit cooler than inland. Although that's not always 100% true, generally that's the case. Just because that much water, it takes a long time to cool down and warm up. So you get the benefits of the lake breeze that makes it either a little bit cooler or a little bit warmer depending on the season, right off the lake. One of the bigger disadvantages of living on Lake Michigan is lake effect snow. Almost every winter, we have some kind of lake effect snow. The wind blows from the east off the lake and creates that band of lake effect snow. It usually hits within a couple miles of the lakefront, but if you're living right on the lake, you're gonna get that lake effect snow. Of course, one of the bigger positives of living on Lake Michigan are the spectacular sunrises you get almost every single morning. You just look to the east out of your living room window, you see this fantastic sunrise almost every morning coming up over Lake Michigan. Of course, to live on Lake Michigan, these houses are typically a little more expensive. It'll be really hard for you to find a move-in ready house on Lake Michigan for less than $500,000, unless you're buying a real fixer-upper, something that needs a lot of work, which is out there. But if you're looking for a move-in ready house, expect to spend at least $400,000 to $500,000 and up to be on Lake Michigan. If you don't think Lake Michigan life is the life for you, then consider one of the smaller inland lakes. These lakes are much smaller than Lake Michigan, but if you enjoy water sports, boating, fishing, jet skiing, tubing, whatever you may want to do on the water, inland lakes are probably the thing for you. Most of the houses on these smaller lakes have their very own piers. When you live on Lake Michigan, very few houses have their own piers. Just city regulations say that most houses on Lake Michigan can't have their own piers. You have to use a city pier. So when you're on one of the smaller interior lakes, most of those houses have their own piers. So you don't have to worry about driving your boat to lake access and dropping it in and pulling out at night. Your boat's already in the water, ready to go. Houses on these smaller interior lakes are typically cheaper as well. You can find a nice move-in ready house on a smaller lake for $250,000 to $300,000. Get them even cheaper if you're looking for a fixer-upper, something that needs updating, maybe a gut job, a lot of rehab. You can probably find a house on an interior lake for, I've seen them as cheap as $100,000. So it just depends on what you're looking for. One of the biggest advantages to living on an interior lake, one of the smaller lakes, is that you get to enjoy all the summer and winter activities anytime you want. Since most of these houses on the lake and the smaller lakes have their own pier, you can go boating anytime you want. When it's wintertime and the lake is frozen, you can go ice skating. You can go ice fishing anytime you want. You don't have to put your boat on a trailer, drive it a few miles down the road, find a public access to get into the big lake. Your boat's already on the water, ready to go. One of the biggest negatives that you'll encounter with living on the lake, whether it's Lake Michigan or one of the smaller lakes, is the risk of flooding. Now, these lakes don't flood every year, but when the spring thaw happens, and when we get a lot of rain during the spring and summer, these lakes can swallow up over their shores and into your yard, or even worse, into your house. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're buying a house on the lake, is that there is a risk of flooding. Most of these houses, your home insurance company will make you cover some sort of flood insurance. Another thing to keep in mind when you're buying a house on a lake is a lot of these lake communities, especially the communities on the smaller lakes, they have an HOA for the houses in that area. The HOA typically pays for like a community beach, community playgrounds, community clubhouses. Sometimes there's a residents-only pier where only people that live in the neighborhood can use that pier to launch their boats into the lake. So a lot of these smaller lakes do have HOAs when you decide to buy a house on them. A lot of the HOAs are voluntary. If you don't think you'll ever use a community beach or the community boat launch, sometimes you don't have to pay for the HOA dues. Just keep that in mind when you're looking at houses on the lake. One of the biggest advantages to having a house on the lake is your property value. Sure, you're going to pay more for the house up front when you buy the house, but your house will remain at a higher value for longer, and it'll be worth a lot more when you sell it. A similar house on a lake compared to a similar house in a neighborhood, the house on the lake will probably be worth a lot more than the house in the neighborhood. Just that lake access and the lake view makes your house worth so much more and that much more desirable to people. So if home resale value is really important to you, strongly consider a house on the lake, because it'll hold that value a lot longer, and when you go to resell it at some point, you'll make a lot more money off of it. Another huge advantage of living on the lake is if you love fireworks, like my daughter does. 4th of July, most municipalities that have a lake in their city shoot fireworks off over the lake. So you already have a front row view to fireworks every 4th of July. All you have to do is take your lawn chair, put it in your backyard, sit back, relax, and watch the fireworks. Or if you have a boat, take the boat onto the lake, get an even better view of the fireworks. That is one huge advantage of having a lake. That is one huge advantage of having a lakefront property. Also, your friends will probably like you a lot more. Not that they don't like you now, but if you have a lake house in the summertime with a boat, who doesn't want to go out on the lake in the summertime and go boating or tubing or jet skiing? Your friends will probably be knocking on your door almost every day saying, let's go out on your boat. Let's go do something today. Let's go swimming in the lake. I almost guarantee it. Stick around and check out this video that comes up next about the cost of buying a house. I hope this video answers some of your questions about living on the lake and whether or not you should consider buying a house on the lake. If there's anything I missed or anything that you'd like to add, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to see your guys' feedback. I hope you have a great week, and please don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the like button. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you next Monday right here at 10 a.m.